Miss Hexy, welcome back to Tunisia. All right, so we wrapped up December of 1942, and needless to say, there was quite a bit of mud. However, I think we did have two turns, maybe three, that were not mud. So that would have been one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, so three turns out of nine. It might have been four that weren't mud, but tried to make as much haste as possible for the Allies when there was no mud as we possibly could. And not much ground made up here along the coast. They just can't seem to push this unit back. They did destroy a unit that was in there helping him, but now he's got something even better in there with him. I think he's got an anti-tank unit in there. They can't get these guys moving. Every time they try to attack here, no matter what kind of mass of force they get in there, during the reaction phase, making sure the Germans have tactical bombers that can fly in there and disrupt something or DG something so that there's not a much attack power. The Germans don't have the big massive amounts of artillery that the Commonwealth or the Allies do, and the Allies are using the daylights at it. And of course, you play OCS, it's massive use of supply when you got a barrage. So, fortunately, with all the mud turns, opted to move more supply onto the map than rather bring in reinforcements using rail or anything like that. The Allies they get two rail points which can be used for supply coming in off the map over here to the west. And then you got airplanes or transport planes that can fly supply in, which you can do during mud turns. And then you have CCAP. Germans have a CCAP in December of 3, so I kind of flip flop between supplies and bringing in Box A reinforcements and supplies. So the Germans are sitting okay. Allies, yeah, they're okay on supply up here. They could probably go another turn with some major engagements here, but it just didn't make any ground up here. So I thought, well, you know what? Let's start getting the French. The French got two of their complete forces just about on the map. Start moving them towards the center area here because, the objectives are sitting here along this line. And eventually 8th Army's going to come on, and the rest of DAC, I guess, will be leading them up from the bottom of the map up here as the Commonwealth are pushing this way. So I decided, well, 1st Armored is big. So let's take 1st Armored and let's go somewhere where there's not as many Germans to deal with. And they drove down in here. Now, they got caught during the mud turns where they were out of trace supply and kept having to do airdrops with all the transports, all the C-47s in here to try to get them enough supply to stay afloat. And it did. I was able to do it. But now I'm afraid they're going to get bumped again because they went on the attack over here. They captured this airfield from the Germans here, and they picked up some supply there. And the transports can fly supply in there. Now you don't have to airdrop them. They can actually land in there. And I think that's a 2-strength airfield. So that means they can drop 4T of supply in there. I think it's 2 times 2T. Or it's the airbase level times 2T. However, they went after these units over here in Swiss, whatever. And German air power reacted, DG'd. They weren't able to get a good attack there, so they didn't. And then the Germans sent some units from 10th Panzer down there to pinch some of these units. They killed one unit out of the stack that was on this side and drove him back. And then this unit came in, killed one of the armored units that was sitting in here and drove the other one out. So, of course, and you got to remember in this game here, you apply the combat results to the attacker first. So he retreated. This guy gave him a clear hex to get out, so he was able to save one unit. And of course, 1st Armored destroyed a unit that was sitting here, but they still got Superga to deal with right here, whatever that's called. I don't know. They're out of position. This unit has got to go so that they can trace supply using that railroad. Because you can't transport on those rail lines past the border over here, but you can use them for trace supply. Not, all the same. So they need to get that open, or else we're going to have to keep flying supply down in there to them. Like I say, there's the Germans are starting to fill the gaps here in the mountains, and making sure they have enough strength here in the north, and they're doing just fine. And I'm gonna tell you, I think the advantage in this game for the Axis is their air power, because now we finally got an air base built up here for the Allies. All right, but of course, sure enough, the German bombers hit it. German tactical bombers went and hit that thing and knocked out some airplanes. But the 109s that the Germans have sitting in here and in Bizerte and in Tunis and out in front, they can reach all these things here. And you just keep the trick I'm finding is keeping some of these fighters and tactical bombers active for reaction, so they can fly out here and stunt some of these attacks that the Allies are trying to put into place. However, this is going to start. This front's going to start to grow with attacks. They're going to keep attacking up here, keep attacking in the middle, trying to get something going in here, and maybe coming up through here along this rail line right here. Try to get something going. First Armor is going to continue to work. There's still a lot of major forces to come on for both sides. Yeah, there's a lot, but I think most of that's going to be when the 8th Army comes on way down there later. Okay, and you got some defense works down there, trying to drop some supply in there for the Germans using sea transport or air transport when I can, sparingly, but trying to put some in there. There's already one German unit sitting there, which he'll get to move this turn finally. Okay, because of we're mud, so he's not moving this time. He's going to be staying down there, and he only came on. Actually, you know what? I forgot to move him the last time. Probably should have moved him. But this is how we're progressing. We're getting ready to start January 1943. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, counting January, it looks like we got about 4.5, 5 months left of the game. It moves along pretty good. I'm sure it's going to slow down to more forces, but I mean, like I say, using supply. I spend most of my time trying to decide: am I going to drop supply into these units to gas them up and move them, or a little easier for the Germans because I don't necessarily have to move everything for the Axis because they just stay stationary. And, using combat supply on the defense, of course, is a lot easier than being the attacker. Allies is a different story. It takes me a few minutes to think about what I can afford to do and still have supply to attack with. So that's how we're getting along here. So Tunisia II, multi-man, this is OCS. Again, we're through with December, and we're getting ready to start January, which is still another one of those months that'll be loaded with mud. So, but like I say, starting to figure out some of the subtleties of the game, getting much better at using air. Even the Allies' air, when they get their Spitfires out, they're 5-strength units, so they can match the 109s, but they're only able to match them straight up when they're flying from this base. So I need to get probably another 1 or 2 Allied air bases here closer to the front line, so these guys don't have to fly more than half distance to do fighter sweeps. Okay, their ability to barrage their tactical bombers is not good compared to what the Germans. The German tactical bombers have, barrage strengths of 12, where the biggest Commonwealth one I see over here is an 8. Most of them are 6, 5, and 4. Okay, so as long as the Germans, I think, keep their air power up, keep it activated, get it repaired, don't lose units, which they do have 1 or 2, but I think those are Italians. I think they're going to rule the sky. I'm looking over here at the Allies. The Americans, they have some 38s in there and some 49s, but they don't really have much in the way of good, strong fighter air power like the British Spitfires do. So the Brits still have a couple of Spitfire units that can come on to match the 109s. But like I said, I need to get air bases. And I imagine most of that's going to come on with 8th Army once they arrive in the south down there behind the Germans that are falling back towards Tunisia. Hopefully for the Allies, 8th Army will be able to stay on that unit that's coming in, the German units are coming in, because if not, those Germans will be able to roll up in here and help thwart any efforts towards Tunis and Bizerte. So, all right, there you go. OCS, Tunisia II. We're hot after it. Let's get another month played. Get back to you soon.